Hello everyone, this is Sonali, carrying 10 years of experience in the IT industry. I'm an expert in building cloud native systems, automating a CI/CD pipelines, scaling infrastructure on AWS, GCP, and Azure, and I love to solve the complex DevOps challenges using Terraform, Ansible, Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. So, beyond the tech, I have mentored many working professionals and students, those who are struggling with their career. If you are also someone, if you need any guidance, feel free to reach out me on my LinkedIn. So, today we are going to see a most interesting topic, that is the disaster recovery. So, for that, we are having two amazing guests with us. So, our first guest is Venkata, joining us from UK. He is a cloud solution architect. And trust me, guys, this person knows all the insights, whether it's designing a smart cloud system or making disaster recovery. Everything looks easy for him. So today he is going to show you how actually build a disaster recovery plan, not just theory, but real time hands on. So let's talk about our second guest joining us from Netherlands, Mr. Karthik. He is a cloud solution architect. Karthik helped the many big clients to design cloud systems that don't just run, they survive, recover, and scale like a pro. So here is secret. Uh, Simplicity, structure, and lots of practical insights. So let me tell you, if you have been ever confused about the disaster recovery or wonder how it actually works in the real life, then this session is perfect for you. This will be game changer for you. So stay till the end. You will get lots of insights. Thank you. Now it's time to welcome our first guest. Welcome, Venkata. Over to you.
Thanks, Sonali. No. Hi, everyone. My name is Venkata, and I'm a cloud solution architect with 14 years of hands-on experience designing and implementing enterprise-scale cloud solutions. I specialized turning complex business challenges into streamlined, cost-effective cloud architectures that drive real business value. I help organizations to accelerate their digital transformation while keeping cost predictable and performance optimal. Whether you are migrating to cloud or modernizing legacy systems or optimizing existing infrastructure, I deliver solutions that work today and scale tomorrow. And this is about me. I'm just hand over to Karthik. Karthik, can you just brief about yourself?
Good day, everyone. I'm Karthik. I'm a senior cloud solution architect, and I have 15 years of experience in designing scalable, secure cloud solutions. I'm expert in multi-cloud environments such as Azure, AWS, GCP, together with microservices, API management, and DevOps automation. And I'm passionate about cloud. I'm passionate of cloud enthusiast. So let's dive into the topic. This session will take around 45 minutes to 60 minutes. And end of the session, you will be learned like how you can minimize the downtime, how you can protect the production data, and then maintain the compliance, and then test failover, because test failover is very important. Not only setting up the recovery, it's about testing it, whether it is working or not when the real disaster happens. And then cost optimization as well, because disaster recovery is basically backing up the data, right? Replicating the data. So it costs. So how we can reduce the cost, that is also you will be learned. So let's start. So first of all, why we need disaster recovery? That is very important, because everyone talks about setting up the server, scaling the server, making it highly available. But less people only talking about disaster recovery, but it is a crucial part to the business. So let's dive into that. The first reason is natural disaster. When we say natural disaster, it is like when there is a flood comes, or when the data center is collapsed. So we need, the business should run, right? It shouldn't stop when there is a natural disaster. So that is one of the reason. And the second reason is when there is a cyber attack. So there will be a lot of DDoS attack, and so many attacks are there. So when that happens, the business shouldn't stop. It should run. That is a very important thing. And the third is infrastructure failure. When we say infrastructure failure, it is like when the server is collapsed, when someone unexpectedly unplugged something, or when the server rack is fall down. So that is infrastructure failure. And then human errors. Human error means when admin unexpectedly delete the data, or they misplaced the storage disk. So that is also a reason. That will also cause issue. And then regulatory compliance need, because when the business grows, there are certain rules, like they have to keep the production data replicated, like 1 copy or 2 copy or even 5 copies. So that is like based on the business size, they have to follow certain rules, and they need disaster recovery for that as well. And then planned maintenance or migration. When we say planned maintenance or migration, sometimes we know that we need to upgrade the server, or upgrade the OS, or upgrade the packages in the server. So during that time, we need to shut down the server. So the site should keep run even though we shut down the server. So what we need to do here is, like, we need to shut down the server. At the same time, the another server should run. So during that scenario also, the disaster recovery will help a lot. So the key reason, okay. So we discussed about why we need a disaster recovery, and like the next thing is how we are going to implement it, where we are going to implement it. So today we are going to discuss about implementing the disaster recovery in Azure, and the Azure providing a service called Azure Site Recovery. So the site, its short form is ASR. So the ASR are giving all those options, like replicating the data, automating it, and everything. So it covers business continuity, data protection, regulatory, to follow the regulatory compliances. It helps to set up high availability, and it is cost effective as well, because it's pay as you go, and you can select option, the replicate option, whether you want to replicate it locally or regionally or globally. So that is also one of the feature ASR comes with. And then implementations, and then we are going to start implementing it. So I will hand over to Venkat, and he will walk through to you.
Yeah, thanks, Karthik. You explained very well what is the DR, and why we need the DR for the for big organizations and for production environments, right? So now let's go and see what are the implement, how we are going to implement in Azure, and what are the steps are involved during the implementation, right? What are the prerequisites? Let's go start with implementation. So when we are going to implement the Azure Site Recovery, so we'll have this recovery service vault component, and we'll enable the replication. And after enable the replication, we need to monitor the replication status. So what are the components are going to installed? What is the status? Is the replication is success or failure? If a failure, so how to fix it, how to mitigate? Then create the recovery plan. So what is the recovery plan, and how to create the recovery plan? So what we are going to benefit from the recovery plan, and run the disaster recovery drill, right? So why we need to know what is the purpose of the test failover, what is the actual failover. So when we are going to do all these scenarios just in up to next in 5 to 10 minutes. Yes. So in order to implement this scenario, so we have some prerequisites. So first one is we should have an active subscription with the the proper rights, the minimum proper rights to create the virtual machines, to create the virtual network. So which is called as, to set up the environment, we need to have the proper rights. Then we'll have the three resource groups. So you may be surprised why three resource groups. Yes, one is the primary region where your production application products are running, and second resource group is for the disaster recovery. So it should be in the different region. And third one is vault, right? The Azure Site Recovery is the which is the future, which is providing the Azure way by using the vault services. So these three regions we need to create in three different regions. So I will tell you in soon why we need three different regions, why can't be in one. Then at least two virtual machines in the primary region. Yes, two means why two, why can't be one or why more. So if you have two virtual missions, so we'll be, what is the success scenario, what is the failure scenario. So if you have one, so we may not know the best practices. So if you have at least two virtual missions, we'll easily to demonstrate. Then set up the recovery services vault, right? Next, no, let's go into that. Before going to the implementation, let me explain a diagram so that you can easily understand, right? What are the components are involved? What is the architecture? How we are going to implement? So which will be, easy for everyone to understand, either you're the beginner or you are the a technical architect, or who are fresh going to start their DR into their organizations. It's easy to. So let me share my screen and explain the architecture, what are the components are involved. Hope everyone is able to see my screen. So when we are implementing the disaster recovery, or when we are working with the Azure, the primary initial component is the resource group. So if you want to create something in the Azure portal or Azure Cloud Shell or Azure CLI, so all the components are keeping into the one single component, which is a resource group. Resource group is a container to keep all the relevant resources. So hope everyone is aware of. So I'm not going to the basic concept, so that we'll be concentrating on the disaster recovery itself. So but prior to that, I'm just to, as I said, we are going to create the three resource groups. So as I said, this is the one resource group in the production. So I'm just keeping the resource group name as, for easy to understand everyone, RG, PR, and location East US. So we are going to create all these resources into the East US, and then these resources are, we are replicating, or we are keeping our disaster recovery site into the West US. So it should be in the different region. So I will tell you why we need to have that in different region. Okay. So we are keeping all our disaster recovery infrastructure or resources into the RGDR West US. Then we have the Azure is providing the services, DR capabilities using the Azure Site Recovery. So Azure Site, and while using the recovery services vault, but recovery services vault we are keeping into the another third region, which is ideal or the most recommended scenario, why we are keeping the recovery services vault into the another resource, another site region. So we are keeping all our recovery services vault into the resource group RG vault hyphen central US. Now let me explain why we need the three resource groups or three different regions. So what as Karthik explained earlier, so all your production environments are there in the one region or one building, one data center. If there is a power outage, right? None of your virtual machines, none of applications you are not able to access. So that is the reason we need to keep your disaster environment very far from your production environment. That way, if there is a flood happen or any power outage happen, so that your disaster is intact. right? So that's the reason we need to keep disaster in different region. Then why we need to keep vault into the, why can't we keep vault into the DR, or why we need to keep the vault region in third? Vault is the, right, where you are operating, where you are, your disaster recovery replications monitoring. If you are keeping vault into the production, if there is a disaster happen, there is a power outage, you will not able to access your vault resources. So because of that, you will not able to replicate, you are not able to fail over, you are not able to access the disaster. So that is the reason we should not keep into the production. So why can't we keep that vault into the DR? The reason was replicating, right? You are replicating from production DR. After 10 days or after 1 day, your production environment is ready. Then our management is give sign off. Let's replicate your DR into the production. So during that time, when your production is running in the disaster, if there is a disaster happen again, so we can't predict where the disaster, when disaster happen, and where it's attacked. So that if that is happen, so your vault also is not accessible. So even you will not able to fail back. So that is the reason vault should be in the third region. Okay, so now we are going, this is the four components we are going to see in the real time. Let's go into the portal, Azure portal. We can implement all these things using three different places. One is Azure portal we can implement, or Cloud Shell, or Azure CLI. So we are going to use Cloud Shell and portal to demonstrate. Okay, so first we need to log into the portal.azure.com. So hope everyone knows. Then you need to provide your credentials to log into that. I just logged in to save that time. If you go and see the resource group, I said the first resource is the resource group before you. So if I don't have any resources, so we are going to create the three resource groups, and you are going to create the recovery service vault and the production environment. As I said, two virtual machines, I said, right? So as we have less time, so to create will be a lot of technology. So we are going to use that deployment, so it will quickly ready. So we have a lot of time to explanation, perform the disaster recovery, and test failover. So for that, right, I'm just going to create a resource group first by using the Cloud Shell. Right, as I said, we'll be creating three resource groups as in the diagram. So there is, you can see just by, it's very simple to create resource group. AG group create name of the resource group, and a location. Right, just click on that. It resource will be created. You can see the output here as well. Once it is ready, even you can just refresh. You can see the resource group. It may take 1 hour minute to just sync from the Cloud CLI to the, yes. So where we created in the East US, the resource group name. So similarly, we will be creating the DR resource group and as well as Vault resource group. So we'll keeping ready so that we don't need to again look at during implementation stage. So we are going to create the West US is for the disaster recovery. So we are going to keep all our resources which is relevant, which is needed for the disaster recovery into the resource group RGDR West US. And the third resource group we are going to create is for the Central US Vault. Right, so now we can say three resource groups are created. As I said, now we have actual plan is to create the virtual machines and virtual network or energy, AAGs, so all the components to set up the landing zone production environment in the primary region. But as we're considering the time, so I'm just using this file, deploy file, which is already deployed, pre-deployed all the parameters which is required to set up, and we just quickly it will create. So I'm just taking the file and running into the deployment so that we can save that time and infrastructure will be ready. So I'm just going to create file deploy.json. So we are going to use the JSON file to implement, right? So I'm just pasted this and escape. I'm saving now. So to run the deployment, so right, during deployment, running the deployment, we are just going to create one more storage cache account, which will be tracking all our replications into the primary region. so that we are going to create the storage accounts. If you face any issues during this running the command, so storage account should be the globally unique. So you may change the storage account, right? Anything accordingly your organizations or your standards. So I'm just keeping the ASR cache. ESR is my storage cache account, and we are going to deploy all these resources into our primary resource group is RGP or US. Just enter. So it may take 1 or 2 minutes to deploy all this infrastructure. So just give a minute. Yeah, it's running. Now, as I said, so now, as we discussed, we are going to create two virtual machines in the primary region, right? So we'll be enabling the replication from primary to the DR by using the vault, and vault we have to create the vault. So once or we can parallelly, while our infrastructure is ready, we can go ahead and create the vault into the GUI. So let infrastructure is ready, our landing zone. So I'm going to just go and search for the recovery services vault. Hope I am not going fast. Okay, create the recovery services vault. And as I said, so we have created earlier resource group in a Cloud Shell, so which is RG Vault. So whatever resource you are creating into the Azure, right, you need to keep into the one specific resource group. So for the easy to club, easy to track. So RG Central US, and you need to provide the recovery services vault name. So I'm just giving the recovery services vault or ASR Azure Site Recovery _ vault, which is any name. As for your convenience, you can give any name. It's not like a storage account name. And we are keeping this into the, as discussed in Central US and next redundancy. So as we are doing the a lab or the testing scenario, we may not require to enable the redundancy, backup to the redundancy. So we are just going to local redundant. Hope everyone knows what is a local redundant, one redundant. So if in case if you are not aware, we'll be covered into the different different under topic. So local redundant, and go for the encryption. So select the default options, customer Microsoft managed keys and vault, and I'm just going with all the default options and just go and review and create on public active. So from here, I'm just going to by default option just go and create. So once the recovery services vault is ready, then from there we have the options to select virtual production environment and where you want to enable. So what type of replication is required. So all the options, all the parameters we can look at that. Now, while its recovery service vault is going to create, let's go and look at all our resources, which you have created in the production environment are ready. Just go and click on all the resources. So you just go and see. So as we discussed here, just in the diagram, so two virtual machines, right? So just look at, there are one virtual network we created in the production, and there are two virtual machines and one storage account for cache purpose, and two public IP addresses, each public IP address for each one virtual machine to access from the outside, from anywhere in the world, and two network security groups each for. So network security is to allow you access inbound, outbound, what traffic you need to allow inside, what traffic inside the main towards virtual machines, what traffic has to allow from virtual machine to outside. So that will be defined in the network security group. Our network interface is the one way is the point of virtual machine to be accessed to via network interface that will be attached with the IP address, and two storage disk which running the Windows OS for both virtual machines. So now our infrastructure is ready. Now go and see the virtual machines here before our recovery services vault is ready. So our two virtual machines, as we said, are running, running and behind 2 public IPs. Then if you want to see what it is actually there, you can take the copy this IP and take the RDP, right? That we can check it later. Now go and see your yes, our deployment is ready. Now let's go back. Either you click the resource group or you click on the recovery services, search again recovery services vault. This is what we create records as vault, which in the central US. Right? Click on this. Now this is where we need to start the replication. Now our infrastructure is ready. Both virtual machines are ready. Your recovery services Azure Vault is ready. Let's go and enable the replication. Just we have multiple places to enable. One, either you click on the enable site recovery or go to the replicated item. Under the protected item, go to the replicated items to enable the replication. Or if you want to go and monitor, you can go and see the monitor the replication status right under the monitoring. So that will be look at one by one after we enable the replication. Just click this enable the site recovery. Right, click on enable replication, and here first we need to select what is our production or source region, so where we deployed. So as you see in the diagram, we deployed our virtual machines into the East US. So just select the East US. Yes, it's all charged. Then the resource group, if you go and see our resource group is RGPR East US. Just go and select the resource group RGPR East US. Now, then click on the next. Just loading. See, you can see the both the virtual machines. So if you have 100 virtual machines, you can see in the same region, same region under resource group, you can see 100 virtual machines. So now we are going to enable the replication for both the virtual machines. Click on select both the virtual machines. Click next. Next, right? Where you are going to replicate? Right? If you see the diagram, we are going to replicate our virtual machines from production DR into the RGDR West US region. Sorry, in the resource group, region is West US. So just go and select the region is West US and the resource group, which by default it is going to create new. No, because we already resource group is created. Just click on RGDR West US. And it's going to create, since we didn't create a virtual network, but as per best practices, as we should be created the same landing zone into the production. What other resources are created except virtual machines, everything has to be created in the DR, so that we'll be keep ready environment for the test DR or real DR scenarios, which save a lot of time. But during here as a testing scenario, as we are doing the prior doing the live case, we are going to create the new virtual network, right, and subnet. Then we are selecting the default retention policy, which will keep your production points, consistent points up to 24 hours. So that if you want to recover last 24 hours, we can go and recover from any recovery point from the DR services. And we have the option to storage automation, as ASR will provide you option to automate your failover or failback activity to automate. So that's where storage automation is going to create it automatically. Just click next and click enable replication. Just go. So as this replication, right, you just go and see, just wait for a minute. Once it's done, now go and see the monitoring. So what is the status is going. So once the replication is enabled, then we go and see how to test failover, how to do the real failover or failback, right? Just wait for a minute. Deployment is completed. Then just, our deployment is completed. Just click on the deployment success, right? Or we just can go and see, maybe it's just still running. Deployment, submitting the template, just to go to the back to the recovery services vault while it's running, right? Recovery services vault. And as I said, just go and see the monitoring, right? We can monitor what is the current status of the recovery jobs. Just wait for the deployment to be success. Or go to the replicated items. Here also we can see what is the status of the replication. It may take 1 or 2 minutes. Then, right, then once replication is completed, then, right, we can see our real how the ASR is working for the failover, failback. Is it no, real-time replication or like near zero replication? We'll see those as well, right? Just look at the site recovery. Yes, you can see just it's going to create now, right? In process, just click it, status creation. It's showing one what's currently. Or we have another option. Go to the monitoring. Just a second. Yes, a recovery vault. Replicate backup items. Just look for the individual, right? Or go to the virtual machine. Still, it's taking time, as you know. You can see the option enable replication. Click on this. Currently, just replication policy is done. Now it's going to do the go to the virtual machines. From virtual machines also we can see the replication. Just select the virtual machine and go to the backup and disaster recovery. Go to the disaster recovery. Right now, this. So maybe allow me 1 or 2 minutes still to reflect the status. So generally, it won't take much time. Recovery services vault. Replicated items. Just a minute. Let me refresh. Go to the monitoring.
Venkata, maybe I can show my screen that we already prepared the recovery replication.
Yes, Karthik, just I want to show after this, right? What will be the next? Maybe I know it's, we are almost taking almost time. So considering the time, so once you enable the replication, it's going to, the ASR is going to register the mobility services with all the virtual machines. Then we'll start syncing the replication. Since considering time, then we already created virtual machines and enable the replication. So the same what you have done, after it may take 30 minutes to replicate. So just save the time. We just created another setup. We'll be showing that. So I'm just handovering to Karthik to continue the test failover, failback, and what are the benefits and further. Just Karthik, I just hand over to you.
Yes, thanks, Venkata. Thanks for the great explanation. Let me share my screen. Okay. Hope you guys see my screen. So as Venkat explained, it will start replicating it. So once it is enabled, you will be able to see all those steps are completed. When you click this notification, it will open this page and you can see all the logs, what it does. And then you can go to the vault, and in the vault, you can go to replicated items, and there will be 2 VMs because we selected 2 VMs, and the status should be protected. That is a complete status. Once the backup is done, replication is done, it says as protected. And as you can see here, it is warning because we have not tested the site recovery yet. We just created the replication. Okay, so let's start testing it. So as
yeah, can you close the notification? Yeah, that thanks.
As Venkata said, there are 2 possibilities. One is planned and another one is unplanned. So planned means we can test whether the ASR is working fine or not. And the unplanned is basically a disaster. When there is a natural disaster, or it can be a human error, as we discussed in the earlier slides. So let's test it first, okay? So to test the replication, there are 3 ways, but we need to focus on 2 main ways, which is, one is we can specifically run the test for specific VM, which is You can click here, and then you can do the test failover. Or let's assume there are 100 VMs or 1000 VMs. What we can do here is we can basically create a plan, and when we execute a plan, it will run the test for all the VMs. So let me create a plan for now. So you can create a plan from recovery plan under the manage, and then click the recovery plan. So web plan. Okay, so you need to select the region where the vault is. Sorry, where the production servers are, which is East US. Oh, okay. So let's check. Just give me a minute. So this is a production service which is located in East US. Let's check. There are VMs. Then I will go to the vault. And then site recovery plan. Create a plan. East US. The target is West US. Yes. And here, web recovery plan. Okay, so here we selected region 2 times, right? So what is the purpose of first one, and what is the purpose of second one? The first one is basically where we hosted the production servers, which is East US. And when something happen or when we test it, where we need to create from the replication, that is West US. And then I'm creating it. Let's see the status. Okay, it is started. So let's wait for some progress. It will show you. Wait a minute. So service vault and then plan. Okay, it is created. The plan is created. Now, okay, in this plan, as you can see here, it is already showing 2 VMs because we created under the vault, and under the vault, we have 2 replication. So it is automatically picked it. And let's see the options that we have. So first one is test failover, and another one is a failover. So the failover is actually when disaster happens. So the production will be down and it will create 2 new VMs. And the test failover is basically we need to make sure when something happens, the replications are usable to replicate to the actual servers. So let's try with the test failover. And then create a Azure virtual network. Actually, for this demo, we just created only the virtual network. But when it comes to production, it should be prepared with virtual network, the network configurations, everything should be up to date so that we can reduce the time. So let me select this virtual network and then click OK. Okay, before click OK, I want to explain this option. So we have 3 options here, right? So these two concepts are very crucial in this Azure Site Recovery, which is RTO and RPO. What is RTO and RPO? When we talk about RTO, it is basically how long the time is acceptable when we create the virtual machine from the replication. Because let's assume something happened, we need to create the production server from the replication. How long is acceptable? Like it should be ready in 5 minutes. It shouldn't take 15 minutes, or it shouldn't take 30 minutes. That decision is called RTO. So what is RPO? RPO means it's basically a point of recovery point object, actually. So recovery point object means there will be what kind of data loss will be acceptable when we create virtual machine from the replication, because there will be multiple replication, right? Let's assume the replication data will keep copy the data every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes or every 30 minutes. So we need to decide whether we want to go with the minimal data loss, or we need to go with the minimal time, the deployment time. That's where the RTO and RPO is playing. So when you choose RTO, it will be very fast, and when you choose, but there will be a data loss. But when we go for RPO, there will be less data loss, but there will be a additional time. So we need to choose based on the business, actually. So for now, I will go with the RTO, which is faster, and I will click OK. Yeah, and the third option, sorry about that, there was a third option, which is it will not care about the RTO and RPO. It will simply choose the recent recovery point. In addition to that, it might take time, or you might lose some data. So that's basically, we cannot choose that. So it's better decide whether we want to go with RTO or RPO. Okay, let's see the test failover progress. Okay, it is progressing. So as you can see here, there are 2 VMs. It is not initiated yet. So let's see. I will open in another window. Let it run in this window. So as we defined, the recovery should be created in the DR West US, which is located in West US. So let me open that resource group. It started creating, as you can see here. It might take some time. So I will explain some other points while it is creating. So as I explained, we have 2 options, test failover or the real failover. So when there is disaster happen, the production server will not be available. We have to just trigger the failover. And then if we want to test basically a drill, we can click the test failover. It will create instances. There won't be any downtime. It will not stop the production. So that is test failover. Okay, and then let's talk about what are the important things. Okay, what are the best practices? Okay, so because we are discussing so many things, but whether like how we need to follow in order to make sure there is a less downtime, less data loss, and everything. So the first point is we need to do test failover more often, at least 6 months once or 8 months, or that it shouldn't be yearly once, at least 6 months once, whether the replication is working fine or not. And then keep DR documents ready. Basically, when it comes to production, we should have some documentation to explain about how we can perform the replication, how we can perform the ASR, the drill and everything. So the document should be up to date. And then we need to keep monitor the DR performance, whether it is replicating it properly. Is there any error while it is replicating it? So that is, we need to monitor and make sure it is replicating it properly. And then we have to automate the process as much as possible, like replicating it. And even we can consider adding some notification also. When there is some replication is not working properly, we need to get some message. Hey, the replication is failed, check it. So we need to add more automation, and then we can make sure the replication is going well. And then create site recovery plan to reduce the RTO. As I explained, RTO is like very crucial, RTO and RPO. So when we create a plan, we can execute a failover for group of virtual machines. It will reduce a lot of time. Let's assume there are 100 virtual machines, 100 replication for that virtual machines. You need to trigger the failover for each and every virtual machine. What will happen? It's going to cost, it's going to take a lot of time. But when you have plan, you just trigger the failover from the plan. It will trigger for all the virtual machines. So these are the best practices we need to follow. And let me check the status, how it goes. Okay. It is still progressing. It is creating. Okay, looks like. Yeah. So as you can see here, it is created the virtual machine, and then it is created the it is created 2 virtual machine and the storage. It's still copying some. Okay, it is completed. So as you can see here, there is no NSG or other component, other services. We need to create it. So that's why I said in the first place that we need to keep the DR resource group up to date, same as production resource group. So that when something happens, we just trigger the failover and just map it to the virtual machine. It will start run. So the replication is once the replication, as this is a test failover, right? So once the test is completed, we have to clean it. So you can delete it from here, or you can delete it from the vault. So, plan. So as you can see here, the current job is pending, which is cleanup test failover, because those machines are just for testing. It is not going to serve for production. So we can just simply delete those from here. Click this 3 dot, cleanup test failover, and give the reason like test failover is completed. And then click OK. Then it will start clean up the virtual machines and the storage. Okay, it is still processing it. Go. Okay, it is taking some time, but it will start cleaning. Okay, due to we have just 3 minutes, I will quickly go to the presentation and I will explain the advantage and disadvantage. Then we can go for question and answer. I think we have some questions in the chat. So let me explain the advantage and disadvantage. So as we explained, it is crucial for business. So it is required. And the ASR is providing high availability and scalability because it is creating the replication, and you can choose where it has to be created, whether it can be local redundant or region zone redundant. And then you can automate so many things using the failover, like when the region is down, maybe we can have some kind of some script to execute the trigger. So that is also we can do it, and it is cost effective compared to other the manual replication, because when we go for manual replication, we have to set it up manually and we have to spend a lot of time on it. Compared to that, it's just a click and execute the action. So it is very cost effective. And it helps to follow the compliances. As we said, some businesses require to keep number of replication and then follow the security. Like you can enable maybe RBAC security to the RBAC access to the specific replication. So those kind of things we can do it from ASR. And the disadvantages, of course, you are gonna, even though it is less cost, still we are gonna spend some cost on top of the production server. So that is adding some cost. And then complex configuration. I wouldn't say it's a complex configuration. It's kind of one time. So it's worth it because it is crucial. But for some reason, it is kind of bit complicated. And then recovery time limitation. This is, as I said, RTO play a crucial role. And the recovery time limitation is basically depends on the region where we are replicating it. Because sometimes it might take time to create server from the replication. So that is also one of the disadvantage. Yeah, so that's all about the ASR. So if you have any questions, you can ask us now. Is anyone having any question?
Karthik, they have unmute option.
Let
Yeah,
me.
just wait.
Okay, Sonali is doing that.
Yes, now everyone can unmute and talk. Those who are having the doubts, they can ask the questions.
Okay, if you guys don't have any questions now, you guys can connect with us and you can send questions later. And we will come back to you as soon as possible. Is that okay, Sonali?
To add to Karthik, if you have any different scenario you want us to explain, please provide us a scenario so that we will create the use case or real-time scenario and we can present in the upcoming sessions. So
yes,
that's from my end. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Karthik and Venkata, for amazing session. So I hope everyone gets lots of value, not only just theory, but step-by-step hands-on knowledge as well. So you can share your feedback in the chat box, or if you have any questions, you can unmute and ask there. So if you are also struggling for the job, or if you are not able to crack the interview, or if you are keep getting rejected because of real-time project knowledge, feel free to reach out us. We will help you. So thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Sonali, and thanks, Karthik, and thanks everyone joining the session. Have a nice day, and we'll meet.